Aloha, family of light. Let us embark on part 3 of channeling Jane Roberts. Hello, Jane. I thought we would try an afternoon session. It's a sunny day after about an inch of snow yesterday. It's all melting and falling off the trees. It's so beautiful. I just went on a walk down my quiet country street, past the horses who all took notice. That's the scene. I have my coffee. Get yours and we'll be ready. Hello, dear friend. I am ready. Upon scanning you, I sense several things on your heart. We can speak about any of these, or perhaps something unrelated. Well, I think a couple of those things we'll skip for now, unless you can speak about them in such a way as to not give too much away, laugh out loud. It occurs to me that this is something like a spiritual texting. Never thought I would be doing that. I've certainly never done that either, but here we are. Let me see if I can speak to it without saying too much. Firstly, you're dealing with multiple timeline probabilities. You're having some difficulty stabilizing the one you want most because these other possible outcomes are just as real probabilities to you. Since there is what I'll call a veil between you, you are bouncing around on these various probabilities. Eventually it will become evident to you and you will lock in on one of these probabilities and co-create it in earnest. I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. All humans do this, only most times it's unknowingly. The day you were in Wilmington last month, you did the right thing. You repeated the outcome you wanted, even though you felt the other one manifesting. It didn't manifest, but rather the one you wanted remained more probable, although not fully manifested as of yet. Your own questioning of this has become a dynamic. Your questions are valid and reveal that you are not blindly co-creating. Like any artist, you examine your creation as you create. You make adjustments, realignments, and sometimes scrap the whole project. Metaphorically speaking, this is a fine piece of art, and you want it to be as perfect as possible, but you must also consider you're working with a medium that has a mind of its own, and this factors in at least 50%. So it's not just your co-creation, although you can make decisions about how or whether to proceed with that particular probability. Evaluation is good in this regard. You might notice things that went unnoticed or sense things that changed the perspective. Thank you, that was perfect. Do you care to speak about you and Rob's open marriage? Well, in our case, and let us say people like us, that we weren't traditional in any way. We never applied the world's traditional views to our marriage, although being married. We had the kind of solid, elevated love that didn't entertain fear or jealousy. We intuitively knew we were soulmates, if I may use such a word. We didn't keep secrets or hide things from each other. This allows for a broader experience and also allows love to not be rigidly defined like a belief. Love is a knowing, and when two people, or even three, or whatever, have it, there are no threats. I'm not saying there are lots of people who are at such a level, but we were, and we were able to maintain a great relationship because of it. Sure, there were times that thoughts manifested as possible threats, and some people are in fact a real threat because of their motives. If Rob or I were to just blindly have gone about, then these potentials could have caused problems. But we were very astute in this regard and never had any real problems. We had our share of oddballs that would show up from time to time, both men and women, more so women, believe it or not. They had preconceived ideas not rooted in love but psychosis. This almost always stemmed from beliefs. By strengthening these beliefs, they also strengthened the psychosis. This causes dysfunctions of all kinds, including sexual, and oftentimes due to repression. Sex was made dirty by religion, and many types of repression came about. Many distorted beliefs and the like caused people to become sexually dysfunctional. Not that they couldn't function sexually, but that they began to move away from sex being an intimate expression of love. When sex becomes loveless, it becomes a utility. It becomes like a drug, and the addicts chase the high, never realizing it is the love aspect that they are truly after. This dynamic became an epidemic and divided the sexes in a most unprofound way. Sex in your modern world is like a cooking show. Here are some ingredients. Let's combine them together in various ways and make different dishes. Pick the one you like and have your fill, which works well enough for the flesh but does nothing for the heart or soul. So people separate their being from multi-dimensional into just the 3D and act out love while inputting no love. This was faked in the beginning, meaning people still pretended to love during this loveless sex, but then it became what you see today. It's just sex for gratification only, or money, or whatever material gain that replaced love. These people are not happy and have no real resolve, but play one of many games where they know there is no winning, but like the addict, go on compulsively separating themselves from themselves and others. This, of course, stems from losing the self-love I spoke about in our first session. Once one leaves their heart, it deactivates. From here, one is broken and fragmented until finally they are left with one main piece that they see as their whole self, the ego. This pseudo-self carries all the beliefs, psychosis, neurosis, compulsions, and tendencies, none of which promote love or empathy. When these egos engage in sex, it is essentially mutual abuse, or to put it milder, mutual use, an attempt to let the high fill the void of love. I hope I haven't said too much. No, I would say you probably haven't said enough. Our world is seemingly so dysfunctional collectively for these and many other reasons. Those seeking truth will want to hear it. I think the male to female dynamic is very strained here. Anything that brings healing is needed. Anything that restores love is welcome. True indeed. I think it would be appropriate to end today's session with the poem you wrote in 2017 called 4628 Seth. Thanks, Jane. I shall. 4628 Seth, 11/28/17. How much do you remember? You don't remember forgetting. If you remember your earthly program, you have forgotten your multi-self. If you forget your creator, hold on. If you forget your creator, you bow to deities. If you forget co-creation, others construct your demise. When you remember time as but one moment, you meet yourself anew in the present. When I met you, I met myself. When I loved us, we healed. When I spoke, reality rearranged. When I observed outwardly, I saw the inner self. When I was afraid, I died to escape. When I was bold, I lived forever. Do you remember me yet? Am I still unfamiliar? What is our probable future? Does it mirror our past? No. You have learned enough to thrive. Are you feeling your power? There is but one voice to hear. As many, we are one. One divided severs unity, and you exist in light and dark. You embody paradox with unease. Unnatural deviations back and forth in a linear prison. Quantum revelation broke that cycle in all directions. Your umbilical cord was a chain linking you to weakness. How much will you remember? Pre-incarnation curiosity drove you to this moment, one you wanted to know. Feeling the feelings transform thoughts to creation. You created this possibility and stepped into its reality. You imagined you, and now you exist. Don't forsake the imagination that got you this far. Your creative force is measured in probability's focus. Conscious attention on that which you believe transforms that energy into reality. Time is for assimilation of breath. An illusion gives time a length, for there is only one breath of life. Time is a construct for rest. Hold on. Time is a construct for rest, but rest is never needed. How much can you remember? Beliefs are two-way mirrors. While you see your image, you also gaze from within it. The one gazing is not the one seen. The one seen conforms to the intelligence of the observer. The observer loves all that it sees. All that it sees are expressions in creativity. Bad art is ego's opinion, a judgment upon the self. If I hate your co-creation, I stifle your growth. If you co-create for another, you betray yourself. When we become the observer, words fall away. To reassimilate unity consciousness is to remember. Love and light, my friends. Until next time.